feeds its children. But behind every school lunch tray lies $1 billion secret. Welcome to my channel. We start with haunting shots of empty school cafeterias. Trays under flickering lights, untouched milk cartons, the hollow echo of footsteps. Then we transition to striking contrasts. Long lines of children holding plastic trays. Giant warehouses filled with processed food. Corporate boardrooms where contracts are signed in silence. The cost of school lunches is staggering, and the hidden markups are even more shocking. A documentary crew uncovers a trail of financial impropriety leading to $1 billion industry. What they found is both alarming and thought-provoking. This is a story that will leave you speechless. Join us as we expose the truth behind the school lunch program. What you are about to see will change everything. Make sure to watch the whole video and share it with your friends. Let the investigation begin.
They say you can tell the strength of a society by the way it feeds its children. But when you look closely at the school lunch tray, the pizza, the milk carton, the token apple, you start to see more than food. You see a system. A child sits alone in the cafeteria, tray in hand. For some, this is the only hot meal of the day. For others, it's a reminder that the simplest of things, nourishment, is tangled in something much larger. At first glance, school meals look ordinary, even harmless. But behind each tray is a process that feels more like an assembly line than an act of care. A system built for scale, not for souls. Most parents imagine friendly lunch ladies stirring pots in warm kitchens. But in reality, those pots have been replaced by contracts, signed not by cooks, but by corporations. Each day, more than 30 million children in America alone eat a school-provided lunch. That's not just food. That's infrastructure, profit, and power moving silently around the globe. The numbers are staggering. The National School Lunch Program channels nearly $14 billion a year. Every slice of pizza, every nugget reheated, every carton of milk, a drop in $1 billion river. But here's where it gets uncomfortable. The cheaper the meal, the bigger the profit. And so, a carrot stick loses to a packet of fries. Fresh food becomes the enemy of the bottom line. It costs only pennies to choose the processed option. A fresh salad might stretch a budget, but fries are cheap, and children's health pays the price. Trays begin to look less like meals and more like products, identical, wrapped, and reheated. Nutrition reduced to a transaction. In Detroit, one student opens her tray and finds what the cafeteria calls a salad, a handful of pale lettuce and 2 lonely croutons. A joke served with a price tag. In Oklahoma, another child bites into his chicken sandwich. It's frozen in the middle. His laughter hides disappointment, but his hunger remains. In Pennsylvania, kids joke about eraser meat. Food so unrecognizable, humor is the only way to swallow it. Behind the joke lies a question: is this really the best we can do? And then there's the debt. Imagine a child reaching the front of the cafeteria line, only to have the tray pulled away because their account is in the red. Hunger replaced by humiliation. A slip of paper shows the debt, minus $3.25. For a parent, it's an overdue bill. For a child, it's a reason to be denied a meal. Some sit alone, trayless, while others eat. The silence of not eating becomes louder than the chatter of those who do. Lunch isn't just food anymore, it's dignity, withheld. And yet, the absurd reaches higher. In 2011, Congress allowed a slice of pizza to be counted as a vegetable, not as a joke, but as policy. Profit disguised as nutrition. Behind those decisions stand lobbyists, shaking hands in shadowed rooms. Dairy, meat, processed food industries, fighting not for children, but for contracts worth billions. Even reform met resistance. When Michelle Obama pushed for healthier lunches, it wasn't just students who resisted change. It was corporations defending their cash flow. In the UK, budget cuts forced schools to rely on reheated frozen meals, food that filled stomachs but rarely nourished. Austerity served on plastic trays. In Brazil, investigators found officials taking kickbacks from school lunch suppliers. Corruption so blatant, it robbed children not only of meals, but of futures. And in India, tragedy struck. Dozens of children died from contaminated lunches provided by the government. The system meant to sustain them became the one that ended their lives. But not every story ends in despair. In some communities, parents, teachers, and activists plant gardens, small plots of earth where children grow the food they will later eat. Elsewhere, trays begin to look colorful again. Apples that crunch, carrots that snap. Fresh food replacing the monotony of processed reheats. And in some schools, kitchens come alive once more. Parents and staff cooking from scratch, the air filled with the smell of real food. For a moment, the cafeteria feels like home again. But even in these victories, the shadow of profit lingers. An apple sits beside a stack of coins, symbols of two systems in conflict. One meant to nourish, the other to exploit. A child lifts their tray, looking upward, uncertain. Their small gesture asks a bigger question. Will the system choose to feed them, or to feed itself? The cafeteria sits empty now, one tray lit beneath a spotlight. The silence echoes louder than any voice, a reminder of the weight we've placed on such a simple act. But kindness lingers too. One child placing an apple on another's tray. A small gesture, a quiet rebellion, proof that humanity can survive even the coldest systems. Another walks away, tray abandoned, leaving behind not just food, but the system that served it.